Peace and blessings, and welcome to another edition of King Talk Tuesdays. I'm your host, Andy King, the show with real news, real views, and real talk. Here on King Talk Tuesdays, we cover so many topics, whether it's education, spirituality, healthcare, economics, and so much more. King Talk Tuesday airs every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Millennium News 24, as well as our Facebook and our YouTube channels. We also are streaming at 7 p.m. on Roku TV, Amazon Prime, Horizon Satellite, Apple TV, and Smart TVs, and so much more. We also air at 9 p.m. on Optimal Channel Systems, Channel 70, as well as Fios Channel 2136. You know what I always say, right? People pay attention to people who participate. So tell a friend and tell a neighbor that King Talk Tuesdays is airing right now. You can send a thought or a question or a comment to our King Talk Tuesdays email, which is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. Again, our email address is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. You know what I really just want to know? There's so much happening in the world. As the great Marvin Gaye used to say, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Well, let's talk. Oh, yeah. Talk about what's going on in the city of New York. Well, first of all, we want to let you know that the great Mayor Eric Adams of the city of New York and New York City's Chief Technology Officer, Matthew Frazier, today announced the nation's first pilot directly integrating public schools with the 911 services for life-saving rapid responses in case of an active shooter, which is called EAS in our school systems. The new emergency alert system, created by the New York City Office of Technology and Innovation, debuted at the Spring Creek campus in Brooklyn, the first school building in the United States to have a direct 911 integration, and is scheduled to be rolled out into 25 school buildings, representing 51 public schools across the 5 boroughs during the 25 and 26 school years. EAS provides immediate resources and secures an automatic pathway for public schools to directly alert 911 in a critical emergency associated with hard lockdowns involving weapon-based threats or an active shooter situation. We thank them for that. Secondly, we want to let you know, for the family-friendly entertainment and more, the Flip Circus is performing at the Mall at Bay Plaza in Co-op City in the Bronx. Their show times are 7 p.m. during the weekdays, and during the weekends, there are alternate shows that you can get multiple performances for. Also, the last show is November 4th, coming up next week, and tickets are still available online. Third, we want to let you know that early voting has started. October 25th, last Saturday, was early voting across the city of New York, and all the offices for this general election is starting right now. So we're urging everyone to get out and vote, whether you're voting for the offices that are available, which is the mayor for the city of New York, the public advocate's office for the city of New York, the comptroller for the city of New York, and the city council for the city of New York. In addition, on the back of your ballots, we're asking everyone, please pay attention. There are 6 ballot items that you have to pay attention to and you have to vote for. And your lack of knowledge or lack of voting means those who are paying attention will get attention paid too. So you want to make sure that you really look at those ballot options, and we'll talk more about them to give you some education on what those ballot items are later on in the show. But right now, we want to welcome our guests here to King Talk Tuesdays. We have 2 guests who are here for the first time to chat it up with us about what's going in the world of politics today. First, I want to welcome my good friend, a good man who's been out there on the streets activating and just doing what he can do to help young people. But more important, you might have seen him on the big screen from time to time, because that's what he does to make a living and show the world his many talents. We're going to learn more about his story, who he is, and we thank him because he's also the judicial delegate for the 68 New York State Assembly District. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to King Talk Tuesday. My brother, James C.B. Gray in the house.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this evening. And secondly, this young man is no stranger to helping people across the city and the state and even the globe. I had the pleasure of serving with him in the New York City Council, and we did a lot of great work and being stable, not in just servicing the people, but also dedicating our lives to the words of Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first time the King Talk Tuesday. My good friend, former New York City Council member, Pastor Fernando Cabrera.
Good to see you. It's good to be right here in the King Talk.
We're so glad to, because I know we only have you for a short moment in time. You got to go lead a prayer service, is what the good Lord has asked and called you to do. But he said, take a moment in time to hang out with another king that he knows. So we're thank you and thank you. But let's jump into the questions that we've getting that are coming in. I just want to ask you, Brother Gray, talk to us quickly. People are asking, who is James C.B. Gray? Tell us a little about who you are and what you've been doing.
Well, I'm a public servant. And that's what I like to be recognized as for the work that I do. But I do whatever work needs to be done specifically in the community for the youth, for the elders, for the veterans. I'm a veteran myself, so I have a really soft heart for veterans. But just doing the right thing. I don't think there's enough people really taking the initiative to do better and to help others. So that's one thing I'm just always encouraging people. But for those who don't know me, yes, I was just recently elected a judicial delegate for the 68th Assembly District. I'm also the board chair of Street Corner Resources Anti-Gun Violence Organization. We have one of the biggest contracts out of the Mayor's Office for the Cure Violence Campaign. Dr. Aisha Sekou is the CEO and founder of that organization. Vice president of the Strong Enough Achievers Foundation out here in the Bronx under Dr. Philip Jordan. I do a lot, what I'm saying, but I try not to get too wrapped up in the titles. Although I'm the CEO of the Hip Hop Fraternity, which is one of the fastest growing hip hop organizations in the United States, and the only hip hop organization that's teaching hip hop artists about the business side of the music industry. We're trying to really right the wrongs from that generational curse of being ripped off.
Right.
So I got a curriculum that's about to be flushed out into a couple of colleges once the accreditation department gets done, with their assessment. But it's looking really good.
Okay.
And I think it's going to help a lot of people who are interested in music. I'm also the director of Ice-T's Men's Health and Wellness Foundation, which was called Men's Wellness, and I'm sorry, the Men's Awareness Foundation.
Oh, okay.
Mickey Benson, he's the one that's, overseeing it and working for years with Ice-T to develop it. I just recently came on board because we have, similar interests.
Right.
I was doing a lot with the men's health and wellness. And then when they heard about it, they're like, yo, we need to work together. And I'm all about working together with like-minded individuals and organizations. So,
Well, that's great. I mean, I got to say, I don't know. It must be 2 or 3 of you running around because you got a whole lot going on. And God bless you for B12 and Jesus. Well, thank you for getting. And
hold on real quick. I
yes.
also have a voter registration program on Rikers Island.
Oh, well, we definitely have to come back and talk to that when we get into the government conversation.
Yeah.
So, Pastor Cabrera, Councilmember Cabrera, we want to know a little about what has the world looked like since you doing things still with government, after serving in the council, doing pastoral work. And I know one in another lifetime you used to do popping too. We talking about hip hop, breaking music out there, spinning on your neck and all other stuff too. Talk a little about what's happening in the world of Fernando Cabrera.
Yeah, I'm gonna need James to be my agent or something, because I go back to 1981. I was one of the first pop dancers back then with electric boogaloo, chain reaction. We used to go in the same club back in LA. But doing great. I'm living my best life right now. Just a year and a half ago, I was at the mayor's office I was a senior advisor to the mayor in the community affairs office, and as you know, we both served together in the council. And before that, I worked as program director, graduate program, Mercy University. I started the first mental health counseling graduate program in the state, and also ran the counseling program. Worked in a rehab program, was a director also, as well. Worked in public schools. So just as James mentioned, it's all about serving, because serving is loving, loving serving. And so, but right now I'm pastoring the church, New Life Church, and those are curious to see it, New Life Bronx. And we have 42.7%, almost 43% of our people now in our church. Get this, you're going to love this, Andy. Are young people below the age of 30. And this is unusual. The national average is 10 to 15%. We've seen a tremendous move of God. And if I could just go a little deeper, I mean,
Please.
I never seen anything like this. I mean, the phenomenal growth. In 1 year, we went from 380 to 850 in Easter, almost 1,500 people.
Wow.
2 weeks ago, we saw 127 people get healed. I never seen anything like that. And so we're really turning people on to seek God, to pray, to spend time in his presence. And we've seen the transformation. I mean, families restore, people coming out of drug addictions and just breaking bondages. So as you can imagine, I'm very excited at the age of 61 to be doing this level of work, but still concerned. And what's going on in the city, you know, we have this big election taking place
Right.
next week, and we need to be engaged. We need to be engaged, and we cannot let off. Whether somebody's in office or not, we have to be involved, because everything rises based on leadership.
So true. So speaking of leadership, I'm going to double back to you, Brother Gray, before we have to go to a quick break. Talk to, because you are a judicial delegate, and he's talked about for those who are being engaged and empowered. Is that, for our viewers quickly, what does a judicial delegate actually do?
It's funny you should ask that question, because when I was observing a lot of cases in my community and other Black and brown communities, what I saw was that there wasn't a good level of transparency, you know, on the bench, you know, with a lot of these judges. And I said, man, how can I be involved in the equation where we could, you know, have a say-so in not only who sits on the bench, but what the criteria is and how we can select people that are more transparent and like-minded. And, you know, that's when I heard about the whole judicial delegacy and how to really go about, you know, becoming a judicial delegate. And I'm always encouraging young people to get into politics on you know, other levels, not just, you know, oh, the governor, the president. You know, I'm really encourage the youth to get more involved in understanding local politics.
Right.
You know, who has a say, you know, in how often your garbage gets picked up.
You're right.
You know, it's not the president, it's not the governor.
So true.
You know? So even along those lines, you know, judicial delegate, state committee, county committee, these are all, you know, introductions to politics on a local level that, you know, you can really get a better understanding of how this whole thing really works and how it can work for you. So, you know, me having that inquisitive prospect, I said, you know what, I want to find out how I can become a judicial delegate. And went through the process. I started talking to my guy, Raul Reyes, who's the president of the El Nuevo Caribe Democratic Club in East Harlem. And he said, you know, he told me about the process,
right,
you know,
right.
The selection, the running, you know, on the slate and everything. And it's not just me; it's actually, you know, a bunch of us.
Okay,
selected under that.
Okay.
You know, and like I said, it's not like a big title, you know, on the political spectrum, but it's a good level of understanding of how things work. You know what I'm saying? And but you know, even beyond just the position, I'm always encouraging people to just, you know, do more research about the process.
Great.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
We got to do research about the process, but we got to take a quick break right